Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we start, can I quickly ask, what do you think of this top? I don't know if I like it. I think I actually might hate it. I know it's kind of a weird thing to actually wear something that you hate on your YouTube channel. This is just the outcome of those very rare occasions when I still buy something from the fast fashion market. This is H&M. Aren't these like too puffy? So anyway, let's dive into today's topic, which is designer handbags. So honestly, this kind of video, it's out there. Many people have done it. However, I still wanted to, create my take on it and to, share my personal experience and the lessons that I have learned along the way. If you happen to like this video and this little place in the internet and this weird person that is me, Evelyn, please make sure to subscribe and consider following me on Instagram. So the first tip or piece of advice that I would give anyone buying anything, honestly, is ask yourself, what are your needs and expectations for or towards this bag? So do you need something for everyday use? Do you want something that is a true statement piece, or do you want something that is a bag for special occasions? Let's say you would really love to wear a bag on a daily basis, then you will already have indicators that will narrow down the specifications, the color, the leather, the fabric, etc., of the bag. So this first question will already help you tremendously in identifying which of the bags that you maybe currently have on your wish list might be the right one for you. Tip number one is check your lifestyle. And this is something that I could have done earlier as well. And I definitely had some regrets after purchasing one or two bags in my life. So, do you go to work every day? Do you work in the corporate field or in the more creative field? Do you go to school? Do you still go to university? Do you party a lot? Where do you party? Do you take great care of your items in general? Or do you basically trash them after one season? Because if you have your eyes on an elegant clutch, but you never go out, for example, you may come to the conclusion that this particular style of bag might be super beautiful and you might admire it. However, this might not be the right bag for you to actually wear in your day-to-day life. And on the other hand, you also might come to the conclusion that you just don't prioritize having a exclusive and designer everyday handbag. So reflecting on that will already give you more clarity. Tip number 3 is check your personal style. Like, really, is your style classic? Is it trendy? Is it casual? Take a picture of the bag, if it's a screenshot or if it's a picture from the boutique, and literally open your wardrobe and just hold that picture of the bag next to all of your ready-to-wear items and all of your shoes. I'm telling you, you will already know if this bag actually fits your style or if it doesn't. Or if it doesn't, but in a good way. Your first designer handbag can be something that brings something new to the table, that elevates your style, or that is a true statement piece. And this is all still something that you can achieve, but it still has to be somewhat of resembling your overall style, because if it doesn't, you will not wear it and you will most likely get buyer's remorse and regret having spent so much money on it. The next tip is think long term. Do not just think about the bag that you want now. Also take in consideration which bags you would like to buy after that or in the long run. So of course not all of us have like the perfect list already like made up of all the handbags that we want to buy. I certainly do not. I never had. But if there are just a couple of classics that you really love and that or that you are sure of, I think it makes sense to visualize them, because then you can actually prioritize which of those bags is the best investment, which is the most timeless, which is the most trendy, which is maybe a bag that you can still get along the way in a couple of years because it's not going anywhere and the price increases are like not so high. You will immediately have the chance to just sort out the order that you want to get them in. And that of course ultimately will have a positive impact on the way you save up your money and the way you spend your money. And that already leads me to the next one, and that is be patient. And I made this mistake myself before. Do not go for a more affordable bag that is similar just because you can have it now, just because the real deal is something that you have to save up for a longer time. Let's say you want a Chanel classic flap. If this is your holy grail, the bag that you really want to get, I know that this bag is ridiculously expensive. However, do not go for, let's say, a Gucci Maman instead, because it's black, it's leather, it's a flat bag, and it has like a similar structure to it with the quilting and the logo closure. However, this bag is of course very, very different from a Chanel classic flat bag. And of course the temptation might be big to get this Gucci Maman bag now because it's a fraction of the price of the Chanel classic flap. But I promise you that shortly after you got the Gucci Maman, you will still want that Chanel classic flap. You will actually be further away financially from buying it than you were before. So do not buy the more affordable bag just to have it quicker or faster. Save up, be patient. So the next point is get the most expensive bag second. So the other day I watched a video by Chase Amy, and I mean, she is a handbag pro, you know, she is very strategic and she's very smart about her handbag purchases. And in her video she said, get the most expensive bag first. And by that she meant to get a very iconic and therefore expensive bag first. For example, a Chanel classic flap. I think that's a very smart thing to say, because those very iconic and timeless bags by these high-end of the high-end brands like Chanel or Hermes, or let's even say Dior, they very frequently have very ridiculous price increases, and therefore waiting too long to get a bag that you want will of course have a negative impact on your spendings and on, you know, the time that you have to save up for it. So of course I am happy that I got my Chanel bag like 5 years ago. However, the Chanel classic flap was not my first designer handbag. I think that buying a very classic, yes, but also versatile bag that you get a lot of wear out in your daily life is the first designer handbag that I think one should buy, because this handbag will immediately have a great impact and it will bring a lot of value to your existing wardrobe. Whereas a, you know, Chanel classic flap honestly is a bag that most of us maybe wear like, you know, once a week, once a month, something like that. And therefore I think this is a great bag that you could buy as your second bag if you already have sorted out your everyday go-to ride or die high quality amazing handbag. Then next you should go for the most expensive one, the most investment one, which for example could be a Chanel bag. The next tip is a very classic one, and that is check the resale value. So of course not all of us buy a bag with already having in mind how much they could sell it for later on, and that is totally fine. Some of us just want to grow a huge and great and amazing collection of handbags throughout their lives, and that is totally fine. But for the rest of us, I think it's a smart thing to do to check the resale value of your handbag, just because it will give you a little bit more of awareness if your bag may be a trendy bag, if it's something that is already losing a lot of value in the moment that you purchase it and, you know, carry it out of the boutique. And also whether it is a very timeless piece that holds its value quite well. And of course, maybe you will actually find the bag of your dreams on the pre-loved market. But I have to mention that I would be, of course, very cautious about buying a bag on the pre-loved market. I actually made a video about some, you know, basic tricks and hints how I look at pre-loved items on the secondhand luxury market. I will link it somewhere here. Because almost nothing in fashion is truly forever. Really, a fraction of the items that I have, and I'm very, very mindful about my shopping, is something that is truly forever. So whenever I buy a designer handbag or shoes or whatever it is, I'm always checking the pre-loved resale value on them, just to make sure that even if I'm buying something trendy, I know that I have a certain time slot to get a lot of wear out of this item, and then I should get rid of it quite quickly to still get the maximum kind of amount of money back that I initially purchased it for. I think it's just a strategic thing to do. I think it doesn't hurt anyone to just check those pre-loved prices to get a little bit more of a different perspective. I know that this is something that many people have many different views on. My personal view and my personal recommendation or piece of advice would be, do not buy the fake version. I know especially these days it's so extremely tempting to go for a, you know, high-end fake bag or a super fake or anything like that. I mean, I even get like Instagram advertisement for fake Dior and Chanel and Bottega Veneta bag. It's ridiculous. There are many reasons for not getting a fake handbag that I do not want to dive into too deeply in this particular video, besides the fact that it is ethically quite problematic to buy fake items. I want to focus more on, the quality, the longevity. So if you actually buy a fake bag for, let's say, a small amount of money, the fact that it is not authentic, it will be very visible. I might go that far that when you wear this bag, you will most likely just feel aware of the fact that you are not wearing a real designer handbag, and that alone for me is a case of lost money, even if it was a cheap bag. And on the other hand, if you actually buy a fake designer handbag for more money, let's say for a couple of €100 or dollars, so it's like a better or super fake or whatever, you will still immediately lose all of this. If you buy a trendy handbag and you try to sell it and you lose some money, yes, you might lose 40%, 50%, but you will still get a decent amount of money, objectively saying, out of this sale. However, if you buy a fake handbag, the minute that you got this bag, all of the money that you got is gone. So yeah, there are many other reasons not to buy a fake handbag, but I think these are just, a couple of them that fit the frame of today's theme and today's video. The next tip is concerning outlet bags. Be very cautious when it comes to bags at outlets. So there are many amazing outlets out there these days that sell all the high-end brands, from Celine to Dior to Gucci, Prada, you name it, they have it. However, not every brand is actually putting second or third season items in these stores. Some brands produce specific bags, styles of bags that never were physically in an actual regular boutique. They are produced solely for the purpose to be sold in outlets. And this in itself might not be a problem, but it certainly is a problem when it comes to the quality. So my very first designer handbag was a outlet bag by Miu Miu. And by that time, I didn't really know that much about handbags specifically. So this bag was half of the price that a Miu Miu bag might cost in the actual boutique. So, I thought I was, making a great deal here. However, this bag did not impress me with its quality whatsoever. I really had some major quality problems with this item, with the leather, with the wear and tear. The strap came off, the crossbody strap came off like 1 or 2 years later. The gold hardware came off. These brands, they basically just produce a lower quality item that is then sold for a lower price point, but because of the lower quality resources that they use and materials that they used, they still have the same margin as if you would buy something full price in a actual, regular boutique. I think that this is basically fraud. So I really encourage you to do your research. If you are about to buy a bag at an outlet, just do your research, check if this bag actually comes from a physical store, if it was part of one of the past seasons, so that you actually can make sure what kind of quality you're actually paying for. So yeah, this is it for today's video. These are my pieces of advice for anyone buying his or her first handbag. I hope you found it helpful. Please, everyone, if you have any more ideas or personal suggestions and advice when it comes to buying, especially your first designer handbag, because obviously that's like a big deal, please make sure to leave it in the comments down below so that we can all share our experience here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!